Hello, Style Esports fans, and welcome to the final semi-final here in the Style Esports Season 2 playoffs. Today we have a showdown between Team Dark Matter and Team Dark Matter Academy. I am Jarl Carl on the play-by-play, joined, as always, in these playoffs by the illustrious Axeman87. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine, Carl. Yeah, I'm Axeman87. We do have the semifinals tonight for the Onion Division. And I've been looking forward to this one. Both TDM teams are here tonight, and it should be a bit of a shootout here. We've seen both teams have unprecedented success, especially for two teams in the same organization. It's kind of unheard of here, Carl.
Yeah, they're doing definitely very well for themselves. Of course, only one can move on to face coin flippers in the finals. That final will be sometime this week into the weekend, so look forward for that as well. But one of these teams, moving on, one of them unfortunately will go home, and I think we should be in for quite a good series today. Both these teams obviously know a whole lot about each other and how they play, being part of the same organization. So we'll see what kind of draft adaptations come through. I'm sure these teams have scrimmed a large number of times. So should be a good matchup tonight as we are now into Champ Select. A bunch of AD carries being banned, as we've kind of seen throughout these playoffs. Some pocket pick ADs get banned kind of every game.
All right, so we're moving in here. We got the bans coming through. And it's some strange bans, but these two teams are very close, so they definitely know what's going on between each other. Wasn't really expecting the Pantheon ban, though. What do you think of that one, Carl?
I think Pantheon definitely can bring a lot of pain, especially in the early game. Put them with the Talia bot lane. That's always a nice troll pick in your solo queue games, or just in the jungle is a nice global roaming champion, has some early pressure. So, I think if Demonic Xmas has been maybe putting some games in that, or they've faced it in scrims a few too many times, makes sense to ban it away. No Graves ban, which I think has usually come out against Demonic Xmas, at least sometimes. So we'll see if that gets taken advantage of by them. But continuing with the high priority on Marksman, Caitlyn locked in for the first pick.
Yeah, it's almost crazy. We've seen all of these marksmen banned, and even Caitlyn first pick. I really would have thought that TDM would have banned Moyo's Tristana, but I guess it just gets through the draft here. We'll see if they pick up Tristana, but no, it's going to be the easy Yumi Ezreal pickup for JT and J the Deeps. It's been a pretty popular bot lane for them, but they are going to get that one through the draft fairly simply. We'll see what TDM answer with. Ooh, a Karma. I have to think that'll probably be mid lane Karma, but only because I've seen TDM play before, and it's kind of more popular in Style Esports. I couldn't really tell you why, Carl, but if I had to bet money on it, gun to my head, I think this Karma's might be a mid lane.
Yeah, just one of those things that we've seen a few times here in Style Esports. You kind of get a intra-league meta when you do have a league like this. Teams play each other all the time, so that Karma being one of those. Vladimir also another pick that these teams in the league have enjoyed quite a lot, as we also see an Olaf coming through, one of our favorite champions, and a nice champion into Mordekaiser as well, because you cannot ult Olaf while he is Ragnaroking, so no Death Realm for Olaf if he has channeled his own ultimate. So a nice little counter pick there, and already quite a scary team here for the Academy side. Yumi Ezreal, you said it's popular for them. I don't think it's popular with pretty much anybody that has to play against it. It is very annoying and actually has quite a lot of damage quite quickly, which is part of the reason why it is so hated. So I think a strong lane, but definitely no fun to play against for TDM themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting, the rest of TDM's team so far seems to kind of be like an early season 10 draft. Champions that aren't necessarily like weak right now, but that were much stronger at the start of the season, with the Mordekaiser and Caitlyn here. So we'll see after this ban phase if they continue with that trend. But the Ziggs taken away here from TDMA, they won't have that option. Ziggs has been more and more popular recently. He got that buff, so he's got a little bit more damage coming through, but also just kind of the archetype of the siege mage that could just keep sieging turrets. And one of those siege mages, the Xeraths and the Vigars and things like that has the potential to take structures early, right, with the satchel bomb that a lot of siege mages don't have. So a more popular pick recently, but they definitely won't have that one available this game. It's going to be Gangplank for Squib. I like this pick. I definitely like it more kind of as just like a safe counter. If you're strong on Gangplank, you can kind of depend on him scaling fairly well. Kind of just putting a countdown on the game, and one that is very, very effective, and even can kind of snowball early too, right? If you're strong enough on the champion. But we'll see how they do in the top lane against Mordekaiser, as Katarina is picked up for Scurrility.
Yeah, coming through, and this is the live patch. Something to keep in mind. So she has received a few nerfs, and that does mean that Karma will be going in the bot lane. So unfortunately, your gun to the head bet turned out a little bit unfortunately wrong for you there, Axeman. But like you said, on the gameplay, I think this already is quite a strong team from TDMA, as we might see the Lissandra come through to round out the comp. A very, very strong team fight from this team. Ezreal Yumi, basically good in any phase of the game. Olaf is really strong. Gangplank with the ultimate and the barrels coming through. There's a lot of AoE damage in this team. Every champion has some form of AoE ability. The bot lane is their ultimates, the Gangplank with the barrels and the ultimate. Lissandra has a bunch of AoE. Olaf with the undertows coming through. And so I think this could just turn into a stomp in team fights if there are straight up 5v5 team fights between these two teams. Whereas I think this TDM side is looking, snowball with that Katarina and bully down in the bot lane and try to just kind of force pressure that way.
Yeah, I think you're definitely correct there. Something that might be interesting to note, the mid laner for Team Dark Matter. Someone you might not be familiar with, Scurrility, is actually Leviathan, a more familiar face. The Ari maining mid laner from Season 1 who was so dominant. But I've definitely been looking forward to this game. I don't think we've seen TDM with Leviathan in the mid lane for quite a while now, at least not on stream. So this should be a pretty good one. Leviathan, I believe, one of the only players in Style Esports to get a pentakill, but I might be wrong about that one. And yeah, definitely one of those players who likes their assassins, so should be a pretty good Katarina game here.
Yeah, absolutely. Did just get nerfed, but not a huge nerf to her, so I don't think it should cause him that much problem. In the mid lane, that is Leviathan, or Scurrility, as we're going to be probably going with this game, as I pull names that I randomly see and yell them at you coming through. But that is definitely a champion that can snowball very early and is against a lot of ways to, shut her down. Primarily just that Lissandra with the ultimate. If she goes in to channel that Death Lotus, I think she's going to find herself stunned up in a frozen tomb pretty quickly, which could just lead to her going to a real tomb, as she will likely just be focused down when she goes in. Although Zach, also a champion that can cause a lot of disruption, and if the Mordekaiser is able to get the Death Realm onto maybe that Lissandra, a lot of that crowd control kind of goes away. So I think there's definitely ways for TDM to win team fights, although I think overall it's probably easier for TDMA to look for the advantage of these fights. They have a lot of pick. Lissandra ult, Gangplank ult can start fights. The Yumi ult can, kill you from basically anywhere. Spoiler alert, I am not a fan of Yumi as an AD carry, so there's just a lot of ways for TDMA to start these team fights, although the Zac also provides a lot of engage, so I think we could see a lot of just kind of, picks coming through from these teams and fights started at pretty much random times.
Yeah, definitely. And, there's some variable builds we can be looking at here. I know the kind of recommended build for Olaf has evolved over the last few patches with buffs to items like Play the Rune King and keystones like Phase Rush. A lot of that hasn't changed the core build, but there's definitely some more options for Bisque here tonight. Things like Play the Rune King, of course, and Death's Dance as well are pretty good on Olaf, but we'll be looking out for how they build the champion. Yeah, and then like you mentioned, nerfs to Katarina, and that could definitely play in as well. But other than that, some strong champions on Summoner's Rift here tonight, but maybe some off-meta ones. I mean, I think you were talking about Lissandra. I don't really hate the pick, but maybe a little bit off-meta right now. Definitely get into Katarina, I would have to imagine. The point-and-click ultimate ability is going to be very useful.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful to be facing that Katarina on, Lissandra rather than something like a Corki, which just kind of just dies instantly. Another matchup thing, the Caitlyn feels really bad against Yumi. You have pretty much no way to get away from the ultimate from Yumi, and so she can kind of get that route onto Caitlyn pretty much without fail. The net, maybe you're going to net to the side, but a lot of times it's not enough distance and it's pretty slow. So we will see how that works out for them. It just feels really bad if you're the Caitlyn. You hopefully Mega Bro can keep Hawkeye safe with the shield and the speed up. We'll see about that situation, but the Caitlyn also pretty much the only source of physical damage on the side of TDM. So that could be a concern, especially if she gets set pretty far behind. Building Magic Resist could become very, very efficient for the side of TDMA if that Caitlyn is not there to, pump out the damage like you would traditionally think of her doing, or if she, gets blown up really quickly in these fights. Maybe if Lissandra is going in, and there's just a lot of ways for a squishy target to get killed in this game. Olaf is really scary. Lissandra can one-shot people. Gangplank ult's annoying, and you get hit by a random barrel and you can take 1,000 damage at once. So there's a lot of threats that Hawkeye will have to watch out for in this game, although he does have Mega Bro to try to keep him safe.
Yes, all good points indeed. Gonna be Conqueror for the Katarina tonight. I'll admit I'm not really sure what you take on Katarina, but that sounds pretty good. So it is definitely looking all right. Teleport advantage is going to go to TDM here, or TDMA, excuse me. We're going to be doing that a lot tonight, but they do have that extra teleport in the mid lane. But yeah, other than that, everything looks fairly standard. I'm not seeing too much going on here.
Yeah, I don't think there's a ton of surprises. The double aftershock, actually just one aftershock. Who did I see the aftershock on? Moyo. So Moyo and Demonic Xmas both have that summoner spell, or that keystone, rather. I'm losing my mind. As we do see a pause, so maybe they're all losing their minds too on this one. But Moyo will have that extra little bit of survivability. For going a little bit of damage, you can go electrocute, you can go, one of those sorcery keystones on the Sandra, but has opted for that aftershock. A little bit more tankiness when the Katarina engages. I think that could be very beneficial for him in this game as he looks to weather that storm from Katarina. She goes in, even just before level 6 for a normal Shunpo, that W ability from Lissandra will proc that Aftershock and stop Katarina in her tracks. So Moyo doing his best to keep himself safe, and as you mentioned, that teleport advantage should allow him to get back to lane a little bit easier if he is forced to recall and perhaps make some plays across the map. Lissandra obviously very strong inside lane.
Yeah, for sure. So, like you were mentioning earlier, Hawkeye and Mega Bro draft themselves kind of like this, like oppressive poke comp, right? I mean, that's a lot of harass coming through from both Caitlyn and Karma. How do you think? Ooh, actually, Biss could be going for something early here, but maybe not backing off now. How do you think JT and Jay the Deeps deal with this? I mean, obviously they're on Ezreal and Yumi, which is fairly safe. And Yumi's going to give Ezreal a lot of sustain as well. Do you think the poke bot lane are going to be very effective in this game?
I mean, right now we're seeing Mega Bro. Oh, misses the Mega Bro taking a lot of damage. So that will hurt their chances. He might go for the recall. Might have had time, but decides not to. Looks like I think this bot lane. You're never really going to get a kill if you're Hawkeye and Mega Bro at this point. Um, it's just against Yumi, it is so hard to ever get a kill without jungle assistance. So if Demonic Xmas comes bot lane a few times, especially early in the game, and is able to get JT and Jay of the Deeps behind, definitely can have a lot of success for this Caitlyn Karma lane. But just in a straight up 2v2, there's the extra combat summoner from the Yumi, as well as all the sustain that she brings in the escape from Ezreal. It's not really a lane that you're ever going to die in if you're the Ezreal. You might end up down some farm, which is the point of a lot of the poke lanes, but I don't think that a lead of 30 CS is really going to be enough for Hawkeye by himself to pop off in this game. So I think it's a pretty safe lane, the Ezreal Yumi, and we'll see if they're able to get anything done. Sometimes Yumi can put out so much damage that you just kind of get killed for no reason. As we pan up to the top lane. Scrib's getting beat up in the jungle. Got a bit of a situation here.
This starting his red and then just immediately running to Demonic X.
We got a control ward on the blue too. That's interesting. This is a. Oh, we got it.
Oh no!
What a play. Coming through, Bisk now chasing onto Demonic X. It's gonna force him to just elastic slingshot away, and that feels bad if you're the Zac. And blue buff goes over.
Feels real bad indeed. Now this kind of putting both of them a little bit behind the solo laners, and that might be important, right? Neither of these junglers are going to be clearing as fast as they could have, but I think Bisk is definitely, obviously ahead of Demonic Xmas right now, and I still like the play in and of itself. I think this is going to be important, and something really only an Olaf or maybe a Graves could pull off, is because he can hard farm as the Olaf back in the game to catch back up with the lanes. But the Zac can't, right? So he's kind of put Demonic Xmas in the position like, well, I'm behind, but I'm Zac, so I have to literally like gank harder to get back in the game. And we'll have to see if Demonic Xmas can pull it off. But yeah, this is a great move here. I can't imagine any other jungler pulling off a move like this, just going buff to ambush there. Maybe Xinjiao or something like that, but this is pretty wild going for the vertical jungling with one camp.
Yeah, absolutely. I think very, very smart by Disc. Has an extra blue buff now, so we will be able to sustain even harder in the jungle as well. He mentioned how fast the Olaf can farm, so he should be doing very well for himself. And the Zac, just, you kind of have to gank, but at the same time you have to farm. So it's kind of some decisions coming through for Demonic Xmas as he decides what to prioritize here. I would still be hoping for some bot lane ganks early if the goal is to get the JT and Jay in the deep lane behind it all. If you're willing to just kind of, go up a little bit of farm and chill, then I think you don't need to call a Zac down there. But if you are looking to actually hard win this lane, I think they will need the blob man to achieve that goal. Although right now they are shoving the wave in, so maybe just gonna postpone that for a little while.
Yeah, and I think when you said that like they're just not gonna kill JT this game, I think you probably had it right on the money. I think this is more of just like wow.
In the mid lane, Scurrility picking up the kill on Moyo, flashing out of the tower. So that's some aggression coming out. You'd like to see it coming through. Very well done by him and forcing that teleport. Use both summoners. No flash expended by Moyo. That aftershock not quite enough to keep him alive. And yeah, mid laner goes down for TDMA.
Yeah, for sure. And I know in scrims and a lot of the times we see these two teams match up, it's Scurrility taking the advantage over Moyo. A few times we've seen, top lane, Squib is taking Tri-Blade super low.
Also have a bit of a pause during the fight. I'm paused up on the top lane. Not sure where you are, Axe.
Oh, I am in the top lane as well. Watch Tri-Blade get...
He's pretty low. Yeah, this could actually quickly turn into... I think the Q is almost available for Squib. Can't click on him, of course, because you can't do a single thing in the pause menu. But I think this could turn into a kill. How does it look to you?
Yeah, the Q is about a half second away. 0.6 seconds there, so...
oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. That version of it. And the grasp seems to be up too. So I think this next Q might just kill Tri-Blade. We can do some quick math here. Tri-Blade has 178 health, and that Q looks like it will do about 127, along with the grasp proc. So it should be close at least. Not sure. Not going to crunch any more numbers on that one, but definitely going to be close. And he does have the flash available with Squib as well. The passive could hurt quite a lot. So we'll see how that works out, as we are just in another bit of a pause. I believe we had a disconnection here, so hopefully Demonic Xmas, I believe it was him, can get back into the game here in a timely fashion.
Yep, that would definitely be nice there. And yeah, I have to think the parlay at this point is just one tap Tri-Blade here. Not really sure why the Mordekaiser stepped up so far. I think maybe I don't know. I mean, Squib has the pot ticking, so maybe he was lower when he started this move or something like that. But I have to think this is maybe just overextending a little bit.
Yeah, we saw him walking forward a little. Well, he was kind of clearly losing the trade, so not entirely sure what the situation is with that. Maybe he'll just be flipping the script on us when we come out of this pause. But always fun to speculate.
Yeah, he does have the W available in like a third of a second. So I actually can't see how much he has that stat. Oh yeah, I can. He has 180 out of the 260 possible stacks of the W there. So I'm not sure how much that transitions into, but
the W is up in.
Yeah, like a third of a second. So like almost there, right? So he's almost got that up. And he'll have it up technically before parlay is up, but it's going to be such a
close. They're going to be spamming the buttons.
Yeah.
After the pause. Who knows? So fun to speculate about that. Not often we get to break down the top lane matchup. Crunching the numbers here. a little bit for everybody as we are in this pause. Other things to note, the dragon will be up in just about 40 seconds, so that's good to see as well. We'll see if the Olaf's able to take that a little bit early. He is up a level, at least at the moment, on Demonic Xmas, who is in base. So quite a lead, actually, for Bisk if we look at the CS numbers, 28 to 12 for that creep score, up about 300 gold already. So quite a lead in the jungle, and I think he definitely could solo out that dragon if the mood strikes him when that dragon comes up in just a little bit more than 30 seconds.
Yeah, he definitely could at this point. It would be pretty easy, but I think Demonic Xmas's internet provider just quit on him or something like that. But we're gonna try and get back in here as soon as possible on this one. I'll just take a look at how the rest of the map is going. It really does seem to be the only point of contention is Bisk and Demonic Xmas at this point. Bisk, like you mentioned, super far in the lead, right? This is kind of the win condition for TDMA. Bisk is probably their best player. It would be pretty close. I mean, JT is very good as well, and their bot lane can be super strong, but we see a lot of wins through the jungle position for TDMA, so it's already kind of going very well for them. The win condition for TDM is more in the hands of Scarility, their mid laner, who is probably their strongest area there is the mid lane, and we haven't really seen them pull ahead too much. We can check the gold, and they're leading with 500 gold over Moyo, which is pretty solid, but you know, we're gonna have to see a little bit more here before before they really start running away with the game. Overall, the gold lead is like 300, so it's practically even, right? All right, so we will see if we can get back in the game at some point here in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, should be doable. Apologies about that. Had a little bit of a mic malfunction, but we're all back in this at this point. So everybody's having tech problems at the same time. Nice to get them out of the way a little bit. But yeah, Moyo did just use that teleport as well. Kind of key to note, we talked about the teleport advantage earlier, and that is now gone for TDMA. And with those changes to teleport, that is a 6-minute cooldown. So that's a 6 minute and 9 seconds from now. That teleport will be back up. So quite a long cooldown for Moyo in the mid lane. If he does get killed again in the next little bit, definitely could be a problem. Could find him falling a lot farther behind. Scarility should have that ultimate ability available before Moyo has access to his. So that's also something to watch out for. He is a little bit more than half a level ahead. So a window there for that to come through. But yeah, the internet situation not quite working out here for Demonic Xmas, unfortunately, but we will relay updates as we receive them here, listening to the players chatting in the chat.
Yep, and we'll see if we can get an update on the situation here, and we'll hopefully have that for you back in just a little bit. But yeah, it's fortunate there's not too much to talk about. We got that dragon coming up in about 30 seconds.
Do we know what kind of dragon it is? Do we have that information available?
I
do not. Where I'm sitting.
It is going to be a cloud dragon.
Dragon.
Yeah, so in 38 seconds there, after we play the game again, but we hopefully will get that up in just a little bit.
Yep. Got 20 minutes left on the pause timer here, so hopefully that doesn't expire on us here. But looking at the bot lane matchup, we haven't really talked about that a whole lot yet. From what we can see, at least JT and Jay the Deeps doing pretty well for themselves. They're down, just a couple of farm. Nothing to be too worried about, but they are pretty low on mana at this point. That's kind of Ezreal's main limiting factor in lane is the mana. Before he has access to the tier, a lot of the time Ezreal lanes, you just sit and farm. And eventually you run out of mana, and then you can't farm with your Q anymore, and then it feels really bad. So he's a little bit low, nothing to be completely concerned about. Still has about 150, so with the natural regeneration, he should be okay for a couple more minutes. He has 1,300 gold, so the main point you want to back at is around 1700, 1800 for pickaxe plus tier at the same time, is what you want to be going for. So he should be okay, probably to farm up that long. He has Jay of the Deeps there to heal him if he does take some pokes, so he should be surviving, and it doesn't look like Demonic Xmas will be ganking anytime too soon. He is just so far behind in farm. Do have to get those ganks off, plus that dragon pressure could be coming through, so JT should be okay. Jay of the Deeps also pretty low on mana. Yumi's a relatively mana-hungry champion. Down in the bot lane, those spells do cost a lot. The Q is 90 mana coming through, and the heal is 100 actually. So that's, definitely not the mana expenditure you want. She only has 127, so only a couple more spells that can be cast there by the Yuumi. So that lane could start going pretty badly for them if they run out of mana. Without casting spells, the Yuumi's pretty much useless. So we'll see how that turns out for them, but I don't think Hawkeye and Mega Bro are in any real danger of a 2v2 death. They definitely could die if Bisque comes down. That's quite a scary. Olaf and Caitlyn kind of just test a net and then realize that she's still not faster than Olaf.
Yeah.
So that could go pretty badly, but I think they're in a pretty safe situation for both these bot laners to get their first recalls off and get their items without a whole lot of harassment, as these junglers seem to be just kind of farming, maybe going for the dragon.
Yeah, and getting the CC on the Ezreal is going to be hugely important for them, but I did get word that they were just dealing with an emergency situation, and they have since restarted. We do have to wait that 3 minutes, though, to catch up with the spectator delay. So in the future, they have started the game. It should be unpausing for us at 18 minutes when the countdown timer is at 18 minutes. So that's when all this will get back underway, hopefully, unless my math is really wrong. But yeah, that is the situation, and this should all be over soon.
So we got another minute to go here on that, so not too bad. There's light definitely at the end of the tunnel here in this situation, but we talked a little bit about Bisque versus Scurrility, kind of as their the kind of dueling dimensions in these two teams. The two main carries, Scurrility on the Katarina, and there's no real advantage for Bisque with the Ragnarok against Katarina. She doesn't really crowd control. She just kind of one-shots, and a lot of Olaf's ability in fights to do well for himself is that AoE damage with Conqueror, healing himself up with the auto attacks, and then it's just shrugging off any CC that's thrown his way. And I think he could find himself potentially get blown up by this Katarina if she does get a couple of more kills ahead, a little bit more ahead of the curve. And he could just find himself taken out straight away, especially if he doesn't have any magic resist. Olaf, a lot of the time going for more of those health items, like a Black Cleaver or something like that. So he may have to itemize a little bit more defensively. We will see what he chooses to go for, as the game is now on pause. The fight in the top lane continues, and nothing happens. As Tribal pops the shield, walks himself to safety.
I'm not even sure if Squid used parlay. He did actually, so he just parlays in the shield, and nothing happens. Oh yeah, all right. We're moving ahead here. I'll let a build up for nothing to happen.
Oh, we're back in the game, so it's all good.
Yeah, we are back in the game. Both of them similar health bars now. Actually,
more fighting. There is that.
Oh boy.
Ocean pop by Squib, running for his life. The shield will go away. Soon does he have the parlay. The flash from Triblade, picking up the kill in the Triumph Peel, saving himself. Nice play by Triblade. Picks up the kill on Squib, who just didn't flash in response.
Yeah, for sure. And Bisque is still gonna keep taking Demonic Xmas' camps. Demonic Xmas, by the way, has not moved, so this might be TDM soldiering on without their jungler, at least for the time being here, and continuing on with the 4v5. Maybe being a little overconfident. They were in the head. They were in the lead earlier, but TD May has caught up a little bit here. That gold lead, less than 100 now. And with the dragon up and no jungler, it's going to be real rough for him. Now, no word on whether there's some kind of gentleman's agreement that Bisque won't take the dragons or anything like that, but we're going to see how this game plays out.
Definitely. We'll see how the next couple of minutes transpire, as the ultimate is now available for Scurrility. Death Lotus is available, so watch out for that. And then Moyo has picked up his ultimate, so all my analysis on the XP, all that hard done math, comes to nothing, as they both have points available at this point. So forget everything I said, and we're just moving on, as that dragon has now spawned a minute ago, actually, so it's been up for a little while. Bisque just hanging out on his top side, getting a few camps for himself, as we said. No word on any potential objective agreements, so we'll see how the rest of this game transpires, as the bot lane proceeding as expected. shoving in for Hawkeye and Mega Bro, and then they just kind of run off while JT farms under the tower. Missing out on a couple CS, but nothing to be too concerned about as the fighting continues in the top lane. Squib has to expend the flash to get away from Tri-Blade, so that lane going definitely in the favor of TD.
All right, so yeah, we do have confirmation. Demonic Xmas had to leave for some kind of emergency, so we're up and they're okay, but they won't be returning to the game anytime soon. The Soldier on with the 45 here, and yeah, I guess that's just how we're doing this. We'll have to see how it takes advantage of his sister team's predicament here. It looks like he's full clearing both sides of the jungle though, so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
This could be quite a scary Olaf in just a little bit, as here we're seeing some ultimates expended in the mid lane. There's the Frozen Tomb popped down onto Scurrility. He might just walk himself out, get clipped with the Undertow. Actually, no flash to keep himself safe. He is going to be running for the hills on this one. Does he have the Shunpo to get out? Actually, might just go back on this one. He's going to be running for his life. Can he get to the creeps? Yes, he can. The flash from Bisq and the Ragnarok coming through as well. Bisq under the tower gets the kill onto Scurrility and walks off and lives to tell the tale. Might have been Triumph to keep himself safe on that situation as well. Almost a great escape by Scurrility, but in the end, taken out by the TDMA jungler.
All right, so no mercy from Bisq, taking full advantage of the 4v5 here. I have to imagine it's going to be some kind of asterisk on this game, but you know, we're playing it out anyway, and
yeah, we're just going for it.
Yeah, Squib up in the top lane, not having a very good time. He's going to take the back here from bot lane.
A little bit more fighting. JT has gone in, might be thinking better of his decision. The exhaust is used by Jay the Deeps, and everybody just kind of walks off. There's that one summoner used. Now they're back to even, 2-2 on combat summoners in the bot lane. So no real risk here. JT is just trying to make it soldier on to his first recall. Actually, which he already has taken, so I'm just crazy. Doesn't have that tier, but trying to get a little bit more gold for his damage items right now. Just sporting some mana, and you know, mana's cool and all, but it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, no, mana not going to give you more damage unless you're like a couple champions, but yeah, we're kind of hitting that second power spike of poke champions in the bot lane, the one where you get those first couple items and just have the same amount of damage stats technically on either side, but just one just has so much range that it's clearly one-sided. The other power spike just kind of being like level 1, level 2, and just being able to poke the enemy champions without any kind of way to answer back. But looks like we're going to go back into the pause here. And Demonic Xmas is reconnected. All right.
Returned. We're back for the 5v5. Mega Bro paused the game. Thought maybe he was lagging. He did kind of just stop in the bot lane, but hopefully just chatting with a teammate. You would hope to see. All the best wishes for Demonic Xmas and the TDM side as he is back in the game. Maybe just pausing so we can actually load in. I know it says reconnected usually before the summoner has actually loaded all the way back in. So hopefully just a brief pause here as Demonic Xmas gets back in the game, and I'm seeing the players saying ready in chat, so I think we'll be good to go here. Everybody said ready, but we're still paused. So maybe they're just getting the last pep talk in, figuring it out here. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, bot lane going still pretty much as expected. Mega Bro and Hawkeye really wish they could kill these very annoying poke champions in return, but they just kind of can't.
And we'll remind everyone the rules state that you have 15 minutes of official stoppage time for either team. So we are going to restart the game here at 16 minutes 57 remaining on that pause timer. Only a minute 57 seconds left for TDM before they forfeit the game, which is not great, right, Carl? So maybe just kind of making wiser use of their pause time there and trying to take it in bouts. But top lane, Tri-Blade
has arrived. No Death Realm. Death Realm finally used there in the end. Squib versus Tri-Blade. Now, we saw this fight actually go pretty well earlier, but not going to work out. Just picking up a kill out of that one, as we might see a bit of combat in the bot lane. Scurrility is down here, though. I think that call went across, so JT and Jay the Deep decide to back off. Also, Yuumi, pretty much no mana after using that ultimate ability. But Hawkeye and Mega Bro walk themselves out. That speed from the shield, very helpful. We talked about that in Champ Select, and everything goes back to farming.
One of the things I probably like least about the tank meta, Carl, is that when you're playing tanks, it's real hard to get back into a game, right? Because you're not super adept at most things. Farming harder for some tanks. Ganking, not so great from behind when you're a tank. You know, champions like Olaf or other fighters can normally just kind of stick and go and farm, but it's going to be difficult for Zach here. Bisk and Triblade duking it out over Rift Herald. Oh!
Yep.
That's
One
a
of them
duke
get
it
there.
out. I should have said getting dumpstered, but yeah, Triblade completely deletes this there.
Yeah, did get the Herald though on the side of Bisk, so gets the objective but does pay his life for it, just giving a little bit of XP. Back over to Demonic Xmas. He's saying, hey, you can catch up a little bit as we do see Zach farming out his jungle, so there is catch-up XP in this game, so he should be level-wise caught up relatively quickly. The gold, unfortunately, not a whole lot he can do about that situation, as he is now down almost 2k. So, even despite that, the gold overall is still quite even, so there definitely could work out for either of these teams. Jay of the Deep's having to run himself away. He's not going to get out. Ace in the hole comes through the Sheriff with Piltover, picking up that kill, as the support is now down for TDMA, and it was just a couple of minutes ago we were talking about the Dragon going over to Bisk, and at this point it looks like the Dragon might almost have priority for TDM's side. Unfortunately, Demonic Xmas just not quite high enough level to start that off, but a nice kill onto the support.
Yep, absolutely, and that first Dragon in the game is still up. Bisk not taking full advantage of the board earlier, I guess, not taking that Dragon yet. But might be looking for it now as he does have the Rift Herald. Maybe dropping the Rift Herald and going for Dragon, but we'll see what he does here. Kind of hovering bot lane, but not too interested just yet.
A lot of vision for TDM, so this would be a little bit of a risky Dragon start for the Olaf. He's just hovering around, decides against it, so he's going to back off for the time being. JTJ the Deeps playing with a lot of aggression here in the bot lane. Another jungler's nearby. JT taking a lot of damage though. Is going to back himself off as the Dragon has been started. Bisk not in the greatest situation, down to half HP. That Dragon going to reset as Scurrility there to shove him off.
Yep, forces the Olaf off the Dragon there. Classic mid lane move. But yeah, it's the Katarina moving back to the mid lane for Moyos to continue harassing there. This mid lane going a lot more evenly than I thought it would. I really expected Scurrility to have pulled ahead by now, but those Katarina nerfs seem to have done the job. And Demonic looking for an ill-advised gank or something here. This getting hungry for that one, but yeah, still 4 levels behind the Olaf, so pretty rough there. Top lane, things are still looking pretty good for Triblade.
Yeah, the lane's actually going reasonably well for TDM, despite not having a jungler. Scurrility not doing quite as well as we might have thought. Is up, 2 farm. Okay, I take that back. Not anything to be excited about, but is up that 400 first blood gold, so still up. The Lissandra is just really hard to kill. How do you ever kill that? Meanwhile, in bot lane, actually, Hawkeye forced to flash away. True Shot Barrage comes through. The heal also expended for a bit of movement speed as the AD carry for TDM forced to use both summoners to get away.
Who's poking who, Carl? It looks like JT is poking Mega Bro and Hawkeye more than the opposite is occurring here, but Demonic Xmas is trying to make this this gank opportunity happen. It's better late than never, I guess,
Here
right?
he comes into this one. Arcane Shift away from JT, and that's the end of the game. Looks like pretty brief one on that one. The bot lane is very low, so it's hard to follow up that gank. Also, Demonic Xmas only level 6, so not, necessarily the fight you want to take, but they gain a little bit of pressure and gain themselves recall timing to go heal up, unless JT, or they might look to stop this actually, which they might be able to do. Looks like they have not been able to do so. The recall comes through, and the Storm Razor, and Athene's Unholy Grail is now completed for that bot lane. Maybe kind of lost carrier.
Oh, and Bisk and Triblade found each other in the tri-push. There, Bisk is the leading Triblade.
Oh, he's so low onto this tower, though. How do you get away? What do you do? What do you do? That's what he's saying. Oh, the flash and the death realm, actually. The flash forward from Bisk as well, going to pick up the kill. He should walk himself out to safety. Yes, he does. Herald there as well. So a nice kill by Bisk. This tower going to be going over for First Blood Tower.
Yep, they get first turret on that one. I'm not really sure that they picked up any turret blading. I'm pretty sure the turret blading expired before they dropped it, but it's going to be Dragon here for Scurrility, Mega Bro, and Demonic Xmas. So against all odds, Demonic Xmas picks up that first Dragon. Not what I would have expected, girl.
Yeah, absolutely not. But props to TDM for fighting on despite the adversity that they faced. At the start of this game, their lane's still trucking on, and honestly, Bisq, he got a lot of farm advantage, but he didn't really get a lot of kill advantage during that time when Demonic Exodus was gone. There was a lot of just, hard farming. He tried to get a kill mid lane, worked out for him, but he did end up almost going down, wasn't able to get the dragon, so I don't think the advantage that he was maybe hoping for when they, found out that there was no Zap on the opposite side, and the lane's still doing pretty well for TDM. Only 1.5 thousand gold, and I think this game still easily in the grasp of either of these teams.
Yeah, for sure. Got some early items coming out for you. The Black Cleaver. Ooh, JT making some aggressive moves on Mega Bro there. But yeah, the Black Cleaver coming through for Bisq. Manamune for JT and a Storm Razor for Hawkeye. So some pretty powerful spikes there, especially with Bisq, right? Who was out farming some of the solo laners on Summer's Rift tonight. That's wild, right? Obviously, he's had both sides of the jungle to farm, but even like most junglers couldn't keep up with solo laners having both sides of the jungle. I mean, Olaf is crazy, but he's just got the tier 1 boots for now, but it's magical footwear, right? So pretty fast for sure. And yeah, Squid just completed their Trinity for us. That'll be a big spike for us.
Scrillity here. Bisq gonna get jumped on, pops the Ragnarok straight away to try to get himself out there. The Death Lotus popped by Scrillity. Who's catching through here? Mega Bro, oh my goodness, the damage coming through. Bisq picking up the kill on Scrillity. He's going in for a bit more, but he is gonna be taken out. Mega Bro has picked up that kill. The teleport coming through. The Gangplank has arrived on the scene. True Shot Barrage as well to add a little bit of help. JT looking more towards the bot lane as this fight continues. Now a 4 versus 2. Trilate find himself in all sorts of trouble. Pops the Death Realm. Actually, JT having to use the flash. This is a very squishy carry. He may actually find himself in a lot of trouble here. He does go down. Triblade able to trade that kill back. So in the end, not too terrible as the fight continues. Squib trying to get himself out. The Storm Ranger was used for a bit of a slow, but Hawkeye gonna find himself in the death chamber as the Moyo Lissandra comes over the wall to pick up that kill. Demonic Exodus should be able to get himself out with the Elastic Slingshot and or that last cone does use that to get himself out, popping a ward as he walks back to base. But in the end, a chaotic fight goes the way of TDMA. Red buff being taken by them. Moyo actually could find himself taken out of this one. Has to use the claw to get himself out of it. And the flash, get away from the Death Lotus. Really on the charge here, but Squib is behind him. This could turn into a bit of a death mission for himself as he actually gets a lot of dashes by these champions. Yumi able to get out, Moyo able to get out, and then Scurrility able to continue clawing his way back to base. He's just going to be walking all the way. He's saying, I don't want you to catch me. No, Zach, please. And he does get himself out of this situation as Olaf starts up the Herald. And we just kind of go back to a bit of a farming phase. Everybody's saying, that's a lot of fighting. Let's just calm it down for a minute.
Yeah, definitely. Bisq picks up the Herald, like you mentioned. Triblade, eagle-eyed viewers will have noticed Triblade just proto-belted into a wall there earlier. That was interesting to say the least. But now JT and Mega Bro are just kind of content to sit here in the mid lane. Mega Bro holding that lane up there for Sterility, but now, Demonic Exodus getting the hard disengage. Said, get me away from this Ezreal. Demonic Exodus is kind of caught up. I mean, he's a level behind some of the bot laners, but he's still 4 levels behind Bisq, right? So caught up might not be the correct term. He's looking better than he was.
True.
So.
Yeah, he is in the game. He is participating on Summoner's Rift, picking up some fun for himself. Doesn't have half the farm, but the levels are really what matter on that jungler. Especially, he is just going to be engaged, has the passive, so, maybe he's a little bit less tanky than he would have been otherwise, but he's still able to respawn when that's available, able to get the smites down for his team. That's a lot of the value that is added by the jungler in this game, as we see him clearing out the bot lane, leveling up to level 9. So he's only a couple levels behind his team that catches XP. Working pretty well for him here, and but yeah, like you said, the Bisq's Olaf is very strong. We saw him kind of just one-shot Scurrility. Speaking of Scurrility, he's going to get rooted up here in the mid lane. True Shot Barrage comes through, and Scurrility is taken out. JT picking up a kill. The final chapter just too strong for that Katarina to go away with.
Yeah, did I say Bisq was out farming some of the solo laners? I meant all of them, Carl. All of the solo laners. By like 20.
That's a lot of farm.
Yeah, no, it's an insane amount of farm. And we got the dragon coming up in 15 seconds. That should be pretty easy for TDMA. It would take some pretty serious focus for TDM to take that objective at this point. I really just don't think they have the map pressure, especially missing Sterility for the time being. So this is probably going to be a dragon going over to TDMA. Now, luckily, TDM picked up the first one, right? So it's going to be solo for TDMA. and it looked like they have a surefire path to that, really. I mean, they're pretty far ahead at this point, but that soul is going to be 5 minutes later than it normally would have been. So a little bit later there on the pickup. That's going to help them out a lot. But I mean, most of the win conditions here for TDMA are just late game ones, right? With Azriel, really the only early game power here was Bisk, and Bisk is so strong that I feel like he's not going to fall off. So it's kind of crazy TDMA is ahead at this point.
Definitely will take him longer to fall off than ordinarily, since he just started so much earlier, essentially. But looking pretty good on Olaf for now. Yeah, the late game threat of this team is pretty immense. JT already starting to hit pretty hard, ripping through Scurrility here, as we might see some fighting on either side of the map. Moyo gonna get not pulled in. Nice down private. Take it into the death realm. The Gangplank ultimate has come down, but it will not actually do anything. Frozen Tomb used on himself. Sonic X has arrived now in the fight. Ragnarok popped as well. Triblade trying to get onto Moyo. Moyo a nice dodge again to get himself out of this one. He's gonna walk out, and Demonic Xmas now finds himself facing a very angry Viking. Bisk gonna be picking up this kill with ease. Goes through the passive. A double kill for Bisk. Not exactly what TDM was hoping for when they started that fight, as Scurrility in the mid lane taken out by JT.
Oh, wow. 1-4-1, the score line on the Katarina. After I said Scurrility might have been the win condition. So those Katarina nerfs might have been bigger than we anticipated here, Carl, and certainly larger than Scurrility anticipated. JT looking for Mega Bro.
That's the flash.
He's gonna have to flash there, but Bisk is in the top lane. He dropped the Rift Herald. He's got the inner turret. Looking for the inhib turret now, Carl. It's massive, right? So much gold going over to TDMA through just that. And Demonias is gonna smite the Rift Herald into the ground there. Any more damage there inhib turret.
This is quite a scary off. I know we keep harping on it, but it keeps getting more true, I feel like, as he picked up that double kill. 350 gold bounce. He now has 10,000 gold at 22 minutes, almost 500 gold a minute on the jungler. Tons of farm, second only to the 80 carries in this game. And, you know, JT already is doing very well. Has his mana item completed, has the Sheen available. Triblade's in trouble here, doesn't have the Death Realm available quite yet. It's just a few more seconds. The Ragnarok comes through. True Trap Barrage picking up the kill as well. Bisk nigh on unstoppable, flashes away with the Yumi on his back too. That is such a scary combination. A lot of flashes expended as Moyo and Hawkeye use theirs. The stopwatch to block that ace from Hawkeye. He might actually be able to still use it. Just kidding. He's going to be taken out as JT goes to the tower to find that kill, but the bot lane is going to pay the price. Jay of the Deeps and JT killed over that wall, and just a little bit of over-aggression, I think, by JT going under that tower when the jungler and mid laner were off the map.
Here's a fact for you, Carl. Just a few moments ago, both JT, Jay of the Deeps, and Bisk all had over 2,000 gold in their inventory. In fact, JT had 3,500. They've all since spent that gold, which means they just hit a lot of item spikes, right? I mean, it's just
Trinity Forces.
Yeah, Trinity Force for JT, a Midge for Jay of the Deeps. And no spikes, I don't think, for Bisk yet. I don't think
he hasn't recalled.
Yeah, I don't think he's recalled. So now he has 3,000 gold in inventory.
He's doing pretty well. Squib doing a little bit less well, having to flash away, but he gets out with his life, still defending in the mid lane. So no harm, no foul, at least yet. We'll see if that summoner comes back to haunt him later, as the lane assignments get a little bit switched up here. I would expect Bisk to recall after those Krugs and probably go back and just complete whatever he feels like.
Yeah, maybe a whole Trinity Force. I'm not really sure how much the item costs exactly, but he has to be getting pretty close to it there. Or maybe like just a death cap, but yeah, it's gonna finish. It's gonna buy the whole Sterix there, and also a Negatron cloak. I'm not sure where the Negatron cloak is going.
Gargoyle maybe.
Yeah, maybe Gargoyle Stoneplate.
See if he wants to go a little bit tankier.
That would be a very disciplined decision if he picked that one up. I'm actually surprised he's so far ahead and just kind of built like a regular Olaf build. Yeah, it's kind of like the bruiser tank type deal, and not gone for something like a Triforce or a Bork or something like that. But you know, yeah, it's good to have this discipline, right? And to be honest, you don't really need to get crazy with the builds when you're this far ahead. That's really what's so good about being ahead, is that you just, all right, I'll just build my champion, because clearly I'm doing things the right way. So I'll just stay the course on this one. But yeah, both teams looking like they might congregate around the dragon, and yes, they will. This would be either team's second dragon, so a little bit closer to either team.
4-level lead though. For this here, as this dragon pretty much just gets conceded, no steal attempt.
Yep.
Goes over to TDMA. Only 2 though. It will be 10 minutes before any soul could come through. So that's a lot of game time. A lot could change before then. Just happy to keep scaling up here, as this is quite the tower dive. Visk just runs all the way through the tower with the Yumi on his back, picking up the kill. JT there to provide a little bit of support. Triblade teleported in, and actually probably going to pick up the kill on the Squib here. He gets taken into the death realm, and it should be his death realm taken down there by the mace. As Demonic Xmas just ripped to shreds from half health to nothing there. Blink and he misses as he's taken out. Triblade will soon follow JT, picking up that kill. He picks up the second as well, and it's just Scurrility left in the mid lane to kind of look around and say, hey, what happened here?
Yep, and just a little bit less than 6k gold lead. I'm fairly sure it's some weird math there, Carl. But yeah, it's going to be TDMA looking for the Baron. This should go down fairly simple for them fairly quickly. They have a lot of sustained damage coming from the Ezreal and also Olaf as well. So it's already almost dead here, even as I'm announcing it. So really taking this time to take the mid lane turret is a good use of time, you would have to think. But yeah, now TDMA has Baron.
Yeah, definitely not what the doctor ordered for TDM. Zanya Hourglass coming through for Moyo. The Infinity Edge completed for Squib here, and that has to be a lot of gold. Yeah, 2,800 gold, 20, nope. Math is hard. 2,600 gold in the pocket of this Ezreal, so the Blade of the Ruined King will be completed upon this recall. For him, we'll see that coming through right now. There it is in the inventory. So pretty much a full item extra completed now for JT, Moyo, and Squib. If you thought maybe they couldn't get any stronger, they just all did with that one more item. So
yeah,
2 items completed for Scurrility and a Hawkeye, so they are reasonably strong. But at the same time, JT lands a WE on Hawkeye, and Hawkeye's out of the fight pretty much instantly. So
you mentioned it's one extra item. The item is Triforce. That's a huge item, right? So like almost like 1.5 items. So powerful in Ezreal. Now managing to outfarm Visk at this point, which seems to be the benchmark for power. Yeah, by the way, Gargoyle Stoneblade was completed for Visk, so they are going to go for a more of a, it is tank stats, right? But more of like a dive build, I would say. Just kind of like a, I'm going to get in there, and what I really like about the Stoneblade is that not a lot of people know this, but Ragnarok, a lot of people just think of it as like a button you push and then I don't take CC anymore. Ragnarok actually takes away 30 of both resistances from you when you activate it. So you have 30 less armor, 30 less MR for the duration of Ragnarok. An item like Stoneblade really kind of makes up the difference for that, right? And,
keeps him alive. Jay the Deep's in quite a bit of trouble here. He does not have the attach available, but Demonic Xmas going so low, gets procced into the passive. He'll be going down here, no teleports to save him. He's taken out by JT. There it is, that kill. Under Demonic Xmas looked like a good pick, but just was not enough. Hawkeye forced back to base as well. In the top lane, you don't think of Olaf as a split pusher, but he's split pushing his way to victory. Triblade stands no chance in this one. Uses the flash. He actually gets himself to safety. Mega Bro was there to support. So Visk pops the Stoneblade, decides to go back in. There's the Ragnarok. Mega Bro disappearing off the face. The Summoner's Rift, as Visk is so tanky here. He cannot be stopped. Touching the trap. He actually might be able to be stopped. Just kidding. He has a Steric Shield on top of that. So he is going to get himself out. Him has gone down in the top lane. It should be soon to fall here in the mid as well. All members still alive for TDMA, as Visk is just going to go off and heal somewhere. And the other 4 members will back themselves off after getting a fight win and 2 inhibitors.
Yeah, and Biss, despite him looking so strong, they're starting to show the cracks of the Olaf late game. Almost went down, right? We know he has those tank stats, right? The health, the resistances, but even despite all that, if he wants to keep doing damage, he's going to have to build it from here on out. Because he's just not going to be doing as much as he did before. Champions like Zac, like Mordekaiser are going to start to have more tank stats coming through, and the damage just isn't going to be able to keep up after a while. I still think that's a while off, but it's maybe like 5-10 minutes from now, and Olaf will be around about the same as everybody else. So They definitely want to try and pick up that Dragon Soul, as soon as possible. I would say if they're going to go for that as a win condition. But to be honest, we still saw this being so powerful, and JT is obviously going to hard scale too. I don't know if losing Bisque as a win condition, if this game progresses in the late game, it's really going to matter. I feel like at this point, it's just kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. The rock being Olaf early game, the hard place being Ezreal late game, and I don't think TDM are going to be able to make their way out of this one. That dragon just got absolutely deleted, Carl.
Yeah, that took about 3 seconds.
Yeah, yes, yeah, I think so, yeah. And the next one, of course, another Infernal Soul. So really, like TDM think they're helping themselves by stealing away that early Drake. Oh, this could be bad.
Out. He's going to be okay, but he's going to lose maybe 40% of his HP.
Oh, true shot. Oh,
through,
make that
down
50.
to half HP. Yeah, that's a lot of damage from like nowhere, from basically the other side of the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
On that situation. So the bot lane inner turret, just a formality at this point. The trap line is set up by the inhibitors, so it does indicate to me that might be where they will make their last stand. TDM, as the Baron buff is now gone, so wave clearing a little bit easier, still not super easy on this one. Hawkeye on the side, there is the final chapter coming through. Bisque just going to run down these carries. Skrilly going very low, he's going to be taken out. Death Lotus does not mean a thing, and either does Hawkeye's bullets coming through. Bisque is creep blocked here, but he might still survive this one, as he has the Yumi on his back. The kill goes over as well. There are 3 champions down in the Death Realm, not going to make any difference. Demonic Xmas does his best, but the fight goes over to TDMA. 5 for 1. The ace coming through. That is going to do it for this first game. The first Nexus Tower goes down. The second one under fire now. It will fall. And the next is sure to follow here as TDMA picks up a very convincing first game in this best of 3.
And there's the old Leviathan disconnect we used to see so often. And this time his name is Scurrility, but those early disconnects, man, that takes me right back to season 1. But yeah, now we know what happens when TDM and TDMA face each other without. TDM will have a chance at the finals, but it's a good one there for TDMA. Get a little bit lucky there. It almost sucks if you're Bisque to kind of have this asterisk on a game like that. I got so fed on Olaf, but people are gonna say it's just because I wasn't jungling against anybody because I got the counter jungle so hard. So unfortunate situation for sure, but it was definitely fun to watch. I mean, I'll watch an Olaf run somebody down any day, Carl.
Yeah, it definitely looks pretty cool, and it has to feel good for him. And 4,000 gold above anybody in the game except for his teammate JT there in the damage chart as well. I actually got outstripped a little bit by JT, but both of them up in the 27,000 damage area. But yeah, pretty unfortunate for it, TDM, that they did have those issues coming through, that asterisk on the game. But hopefully we will see a little bit of a closer game in game 2. But yeah, Bisque and JT just kind of rolled over this game, and Moyo weathered the Scurrility storm in the mid lane long enough.
Yeah, for real. And that's, I think one of the, obviously this is a crazy point, and there's going to be a lot of people that say, this one doesn't really count, but it was kind of crazy how well Moyo did into Scurrility today, because that is not normally the matchup we've seen between these two players. Normally it's all Scurrility all the time, right? So I'm wondering if it was the cat pick, was it really just missing their jungler? Was that like 100% of this here? We saw the early kill come through from Scurrility, the solo kill on Moyo in that early turret dive, but was just not having a jungler all the difference made? I don't know the answer to that question, but we are going to find out the answer to that question in game 2 here, and we'll be bringing you game 2 in just a couple of minutes.
Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2 in this series between TDMA and TDM in the semifinals Style Esports Season 2 playoffs. I'm Yarl Carl, alongside not alongside Baymax, he's not here, alongside Axeman87. Slip of the tongue on that one. How you doing, Axeman?
Yes, it's me, Axeman87, the alien wearing Baymax's skin as a suit, and I am here to colorcast for you tonight. We should have a pretty good time. Better time than Game 1 anyway. TDMA kind of gave it to TDM in Game 1, so we're hoping for a better Game 2 here, and we should get one as well. We're starting with the bans already, and it's going to be some support bans, and support's a pretty impactful role right now. A lot of supports like to take the roams and make sure they can get that solo lane XP on their ADCs. That can be a very powerful tool. So some supports taken away from both sides, but now we've moved away from the support bans, Carl.
Back to the Aphelios. Always a popular ban. That champion does way too much stuff. So even at the best of times, he's still pretty good. So Varus banned out as well. Pretty strong AD carries. Similar bans that we saw in the last game. Not a whole lot of adaptation. We talked a little bit after the last game. Of course, there's the Olaf. That's an adaptation I think we could have seen coming. But we talked after the last game. Pretty hard to adapt to that game. It was kind of just a jungle stomp, as Demonic Xmas did have those issues, which our understanding is have been resolved. So this game should be definitely a lot closer and just a lot different in tone, as the Mordekaiser has come through now, picking that away from Triblade.
Yeah, and you mentioned in Game 1 the kind of lack of Graves play. No Graves ban again here in Game 2, so we might get to see it from Demonic Xmas, who took Zac in Game 1, which I thought was a really disciplined pick, right? And Zac is very, very strong in the moment. He's very strong at synergizing with team members. Graves is strong too, but a little bit less so in comp. Normally in comp, you want more of a clear-cut win condition and less of a Swiss Army knife jungler that Graves is. So, we could see the Graves here. If he's strong on it, it might be good, but no, actually, we're going to see that Trundle. But anyway, yeah, they do ban away Olaf for Bisq here, so no more Olaf tonight.
Definitely want to take that away. The Viking pretty strong, but we talked about it in the first game. No Tristana ban towards Moyo's Tristana. He's hovering it. We'll see if it gets locked in. I would expect also a Rakan pick to come through for TDM, and as their last pick here, they have picked up that Xayah. Don't think that you want to be first picking that Xayah if you're not going to go for the Rakan, as it's going to be Yuumi Ezreal once again. They had a lot of success in the first game, so not a lot of reason to change that.
Yep, and we are going to be seeing... oh, no, he was just hovering it. I thought Moyo might pick Tristana there, but it's going to be just Yuumi. And Graves actually still coming through for TD.
Trundle top?
I'm not sure. Trundle
somewhere.
Support? I don't know. Something for sure, but baited, says TDM. You're you thought we were picking Trundle. I'm not sure if that gets them anything in the draft here, but
they're asserting some dominance for sure. Well,
yeah.
Assume the Rakan ban would come through now for TDMA, because I don't know why you would leave up the Rakan part of the Lovers duo when the Xayah's already locked in. So would expect that ban to come through, as they are now thinking about that one. The Rek'Sai taken away on the other side. Akali, I don't know. Maybe they won't ban the Rakan. Maybe they just think they're not scared. So Nocturne banned out. The jungler pool being hit a little bit here by TDM.
Yeah, trying to take Bisq off a comfort pick, and these are pretty solid bans, right? I mean, just taking picks away from Bisq is a good idea, and then taking picks away that are normally pretty good and competitive, like Rek'Sai. Not so much the Nocturne, maybe just more of a comfort pick for Bisq there, but Rek'Sai definitely a more solid competitive champion for sure. But yeah,
Singed.
The Singe picked up there for Triblade. Squib actually picking away Mordekaiser. I don't think we noted that either. Triblade's a really good Mordekaiser player. We see him on Mordekaiser all the time, right? So Squib actually picking away that champion is really impactful. But when you play a champion, Carl, you know what works against the champion too. So maybe we're going to see Singe as a little bit of a Mordekaiser counter here. Who knows?
Could be good, and I think that also means we're going to see a Trundle support coming through, which would make sense if they thought the Trundle was support, why they did not ban out the Rakan. We'll have to wait for a little bit of confirmation with that last pick, as the Galio picked up here for Moyo, one of his champs that he likes to play. Haven't seen a lot of success with that, but once again, a lot of magic damage coming through for TDMA, so something to watch out for as the Vladimir gets picked up. So will be that Trundle support for Mega Bro down in the bot lane. Interesting lane. This pillar can really lead you to a lot of problems if you're trying to get away from those feathers from Zio.
Yeah, absolutely. But Galio, kind of a classic TDM pick, now seen on TDMA. I remember Skyripper used to pick that. Rest in peace, Skyripper, dying of course, the tragic skiing accident a few years ago. But yeah, Moyo is going to live vicariously through this Galio and kind of bring some life back here. And yeah, so some nostalgic pick here for TDMA. And, you know, I think Galio probably pretty solid pick into Vladimir. You know, most mages don't like to go up against Galio, so this is probably going to be a good one for Moyo. But, you know, I still, this isn't really a pick we would have expected from Scarility, right? I mean, the Ari, the LeBlanc, so many assassins were still available there in the mid lane, so I'm wondering if this is more of a comp they've kind of built together, and maybe they're going to try and get some kind of team fight going here.
Yeah, not one of his main champions, like you said, but definitely still pretty strong. Vladimir is one of those champions that just always seems to kill people. Regardless of what his, game state is, you can be, 0-3 on Vladimir and still one-shot the other AD carry. Have a lot of experience with that from the AD carry side. So, something to watch out for in this game. There's just a lot of, pretty strong damage output from TDM, especially if they are given enough time in this game. But no real flat tank. They're kind of all like semi-tanks. Like Vladimir's tanky because of the healing, might have some armor. The Graves has some passive armor. The Singed build's tanky. The Trundle's going to be pretty tanky. So an interesting team comp that has been built by TDM. I kind of like it. Actually coming through a little bit less standard than the TDMA comp, which, has some pretty standard picks in it. Safe bot lane, safe mid lane, a top lane that can fight. So I think this game definitely could go either way just based on the draft.
Yeah, it certainly could. And to be honest, we've seen Demonic Xmas have good Graves games, but I'm kind of wondering how he fits into the comp here. There's a lot of team fight potential going on from TDM, but I mentioned earlier that Graves is kind of a Swiss Army knife, has that grid passive that allows him to be a little bit tankier if things don't go so well in the early game. And obviously one of the champions that can farm super well as well, so can definitely get back into a game very easily. But I'm not really sure if the team fight here is going to be worth the pick. I'm very willing and ready for Demonic Xmas to prove me wrong, though. But Bisk Lee Sin is kind of scary. I don't think we've seen Bisk on Lee Sin yet in the league, but obviously we've seen him have some pretty monster jungle games. We just saw him on the Olaf there, but kind of unproven on the champion, at least in my mind. So we'll see how this one goes. Lee Sin has a pretty insane early game. Those first couple levels, that first clear is very, very fast, and Graves kind of a vulnerable champion those first couple levels. So Demonic Xmas is going to have to take some interesting pathing here to make sure they stay away from Bisk there in the early game.
Yeah, for sure. Lee Sin, just a strong champion in that early game, early through mid game, and then kind of turns more into a kick bot. As you get later in the game, might have some nice synergy with Moyo if he's able to kick a champion into the taunt. Could be a lot of chain crowd control coming through. So, yeah, Demonic Xmas will probably want to keep his distance from the Blind Monk in the form of Bisk, at least in the early game. Might see them skirmish over dragons. Both of those champions able to take the early dragon, and both of these bot lanes, able to fight given the right circumstances, mostly with jungle assistance. Again, if you are that Ezreal and Yumi, not a huge amount of kill potential by themselves. But the Xayah Trundle lane should have pressure in this lane to just kind of push the waves. Xayah's very good at that with the Feather passive. So we'll see if the bot lane pressure's there for Demonic Xmas to take those early dragons as we hop into the loading screen and take a look at the keystones. Bit of a black screen here. We're loading in. There we go. Pretty standard stuff. Just taking a first look. Once again, that Aftershock from Moyo, so he can keep himself alive. A lot of Conquerors. That keystone's way too good. We have 4 of those in this game. So, Conqueror's it's just too good, and a very fast load. We're already into the game.
Yep, we are indeed already into the game. We'll see what first dragon we have here in just a couple seconds. And yeah, 4 teleports in this game as well. So a lot of potential for global movement, right? We also have a couple champions that are very adept at roaming. To start off, we have Triblade on Singe, who can, of course, move very, very quickly across Summoner's Rift, given the right items. But also Moyo on Galio with that ultimate can get into a side lane fairly quickly as well. So there's a lot of potential here for those early game skirmishes around objectives for sure. And it looks like we might see a TDM early little invade here, but Bisque and Squib are going to find them out if they take direct pathing across the river.
Might just be going for the Death Bush as well. They're just kind of hanging out for now. We'll see if they do decide to go anywhere. Mordekaiser pinging as the pole. Not sure if they're going to go for anything. Looks like not. Everybody kind of backs away. Recalls start coming through on the TDM side. I think it was just a Death Bush to defend against any potential invades that might have come through from TDMA, as they do kind of reset the battle line. The bot lane recalls, and everybody goes their separate ways as the minions are now onto the Rift.
Yeah, that Star Guardian Zaya back is brings a tear to my eye, right, Carl? How beautiful. But Bisque is pathing down here to start on the bottom side of the map, getting that red start, unless they're
Where are they going?
Where are they going, Carl? I don't know. Right, is this the latest invade ever?
There's no jungler here, though. They're going to find nobody at the buff, and it's warded. So, a lot of information over to Demonic Xmas, but it looks like they will get this buff stolen away. Probably will just turn into some vertical jungling for a little bit here. I would expect Demonic Xmas to just go take the blue of Bisque, unless Bisque tries to get a bit more. It looks like he is going to be going just for that Gromp as well. So these jungles should be traded off. Everybody knows, and we just go from there.
And Bisque actually getting pretty low there on the start, but they're going to be just finally Sin. But yeah, Demonic Xmas going straight across like you mentioned, and Bisque going for the full clear on the enemy jungler side there. We'll have to see if Demonic Xmas chooses to keep up with that. And yeah, it looks like they are going to be going for the Wolves. So both junglers managing to keep up with themselves. But that was a very late invade there, Carl. That's to be pretty tilting, especially if you're expecting the invade earlier there. And then you kind of just, dissipate and finally think, well, they're not invading if they haven't invaded by now. And then to go across and invade, what was it, like a minute and 32 seconds they got into the enemy jungle? That's crazy.
Yeah, pretty late. I think it could have been a lot more risky if they had run into the TDM team. That could have been kind of a disaster. If that blue buff had been able to be taken by Demonic Xmas and then maybe have a fight, Bisque could have found himself very far behind. But in the end, it works out for the TDMA side as the junglers pretty much even off of this exchange. They've both taken 4 camps now, and they'll be doing okay for themselves as Moyo beaten up on Scurrility here in the mid lane. Corrupting Potions do a lot of work.
Yep, for sure. It is doing a lot of work there. Moyo does have the minion dematerializers. Try to keep up and CS there a little bit. So they shouldn't fall too far behind despite being in that ranged matchup. Yeah, I'm really interested in this top lane one. I mean, Triblade, he's facing his main, right? He's picked this Singed into the Mordekaiser, but was ahead in CS for a little bit there. Now just kind of going even. Actually teleporting back to the lane. I wasn't expecting that one, but Squib immediately goes in on the Singe.
Just a bit of poke exchanged by these two teams. One stack of that Corrupting Potion already used, though, by Triblade. So he's going to have to watch out for that. Hawkeye taking a little bit of punishment here in the bot lane. Trundle's not really one of those supports that can do a whole lot in this poke situation. He only has the pillar. He has to get close to you. So he's just mostly a spectator so far, taking creeps when he can with the Relic Shield. We'll have to wait a little bit longer in this game for him to actually get any work done for his AD carry. For now, just kind of hanging out and waiting for later. Yeah,
absolutely. It almost bizarre. I mean, this Trundle pick really just trying to kind of bait out some kind of jungle pick, I guess. So Demonic Xmas could get a counter pick and then ended up just picking their main anyway. It was weird, right? I mean, you pick this Trundle in a comp draft like this to try and get a better matchup for your jungler, and they didn't really. So I'm almost left wondering.
Not sure.
Yeah, what was the point of this Trundle pick? But they have it now, and they're making the best use of it that they can. And it's not looking great so far.
Yeah, they're waiting. You know, they're down 10 CS, but not a lane that was going to probably pick up any kills. Again, very hard to fight against this Yuumi lane as Bisq has now arrived, and Demonic Xmas is going to be spotted. This is very interesting. Both junglers here, probably not in the way that they thought. Mega Bro going to be taken out of this one. Surprise! Hawkeye flashes away and gets the root onto Bisq. He uses the flash and is able to get out, actually.
That's amazing.
What an escape. I did not think he was going to have a chance to get out of that one, but he escapes, and first blood goes over. The heal just not used by Hawkeye. Too surprising with the Q over the wall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame Hawkeye. I wasn't expecting that one, and I can see him, right? I can see Bisq on the map, but yeah, very, very well played by Bisq. And also, Jay the Deep's going to recognize that Lee Sin was going in that hard and we need some healing. I have to imagine Bisq would have been going down there if not for the Yuumi heals. So very well played by Jay the Deep's on that one. And yeah, so fast Hawkeye couldn't even heal, man. Demonic Xmas is going to be picking up this dragon for their troubles, though, as Bisq did have to, of course, back after taking all that turret damage. So they are going to get a dragon out of the deal, kind of mirroring how that last, in game one, how TDM was able to pick up that first dragon before losing the rest of the TDMA. Now it's
fighting
Squib
in the top. Squib on a Triblade. Death Realm's gone down. There's the flip. Triblade is just gonna get smacked by the mace. The kill going over to the top laner, facing his own medicine on that Mordekaiser. Not doing so well. Up some farm, but down a kill.
Yeah, you would have hoped that maybe taking into your main, you would have picked a solid counter or something like that, but maybe Mordekaiser is just too strong, Carl. And yeah, looks like Triblade just got squibbed.
Yeah, essentially here as we move to down to the bot lane. There's that Trundle we talked about earlier, just getting beat up by JT. He's at a pretty free lane for himself. Has gone for the pickaxe, which is something I quite like, going for that before you go for the tier. Gives you a lot more lane priority and ability to fight. So see if he's able to make use of that one. The Q's raining down onto the troll in the mid lane, as nice 1,000 gold lead or so for TDMA thus far. The only thing they are missing is the dragon. They have lost that one. Is JT gonna go in for this one? Exhausts have come down the roots as well. Blade Caller trying to get the kill. Hawkeye kiting himself out. The flash from JT, not able to get the auto attack off. He's gonna be going down. The kill picked up by Trundle. Jay the Deep's having to run for his life. This poor Yuumi trying to get himself to safety. His jungler is here though, might be trying to bait a little bit. Watch the Blade Caller from Hawkeye. He's gonna let himself get hit by it, not used by Hawkeye, and Jay the Deeps was interrupted, it looks like, in his wish to attach to Bisq, because everybody walks out of the situation alive, but in the end, JT uses both summoners and goes down.
Yep, is gonna go down on that one, but you know, Hawkeye finally having to make use of the heal. Mega Bro dropping the exhaust for that one, so a couple summoner spells down now, and Jay the Deeps takes a ride on the jungler.
Gets himself out. Gonna go borrow the blue buff. That blue buff. They did have the timer on that. We might see those get traded back. Once more, Moyo still in the mid lane, trying to fight Scurrility, but Vladimir heals a lot. He might not heal quite enough if this fight goes down, but Bisq not able to catch up. Scurrility walks off to find his own jungler there, as the blue buff is actually saved, so both of those may go over to TDMA. In this situation, as Squib has found Triblade, once again, Bisq has arrived on the scene as well. Triblade gonna get pulled back, flashes, but he goes into the Death Realm. Triblade gonna find himself on the wrong end of this one. He's taken out. Demonic Xmas now finds the Mordekaiser right in his face. Sonic Wave does land from Bisq. Moyo's here as well. There's the flash gonna be used, but he's still gonna get taunted up. Demonic Xmas very low here, tries to trade back onto Squib, goes over the wall with the collateral damage.
Wait a second.
Away from the Sonic Wave. He may get himself to safety. The flash not gonna be enough from Moyo. With the wings of war, Bisq now chasing, and it looks like he may give up. Just kidding. Picks up the kill. Nice Sonic Wave to kill on the Demonic Xmas. He got so far. He tried so hard. In the end, not going to work out for him. Scurrility having to flash away. Dodges away from the Sanguine, or from the Sonic Wave, I should say. Very nice dodge by him, but Bisq is now right in his face. The kick not going to go off, looked like. Does not matter. Doesn't have to use it. Bisq now on a killing spree, picking up that kill onto the mid laner of TDM in the extended fight.
All right, and just like that, TDMA are 1,000 gold ahead and looking very, very good. 5-1 is the total scoreline between the two teams, but Triblade, ooh, actually going to eat a kick to the stomach from Bisq. That can't feel good, Carl. That's gotta hurt, and Triblade is going to be running tail between legs up into the top lane. Feels pretty bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Have to recover after you get just Dragon's Raged in the face or in the stomach. Doesn't sound very pleasant regardless of the situation here. One interesting fact about the Trundle is he's able to interrupt the Yuumi dash with the pillar, which puts it on that 5-second cooldown. So that's an interesting little interaction that we hadn't discussed yet. Another maybe reason to pick this Trundle, although they did pick it before they knew about the comp at any rate. Meanwhile, Triblade going to find himself some more action here in the top lane. Sonic Wave goes rather significantly wide, and everybody just kind of walks out. So Triblade lives to fight another day, but more visits up to his lane as Demonic Xmas might look to counter in the bot lane.
Yeah, this Sims has got some fancy feet, right? Tier 2 boots already, so they're just running around the Sonic Wave.
But a nice double root from the final chapter. True Shot Barrage comes through. Hawkeye going very low. Mega Bro as well.
My goodness.
Nobody dies, but kind of turning that gank on its head. Hawkeye's run for the hills.
Yeah, I'll say that True Shot Barrage did so much damage there. That was insane, but I'm starting to think maybe the counter idea from Triblade here was just to like be able to run away from Squid in the Death Realm, but I'm not sure if that's really playing out the way he
Bisk
thought
is back.
It would.
Uses the Herald a little bit early. Not going to get a whole lot of value out of that. Should get a couple plates, but not a whole lot more. Triblade clearing out the creeps. Takes a little bit of damage. Going to get pulled back in. Sonic Wave goes wide once again. Dash is expended. Squid might find himself under the tower. He may actually go down from that. Use the flash. I think he might burn down from that poison. Looks like he's going to be okay, but interesting play at the top lane. Kind of wasted the Herald and no kill even to show for it.
Yeah, I mean, there were other lanes he could have dropped in, and I feel like maybe if he gun body, he could get the entire tower, but, you know, it's getting close to 14 minutes, so he might have just been trying to drop it somewhere, and that's just the closest place, but, yeah, they don't get as much as they could have gotten maybe if you had dropped it a little bit earlier, but, hey, that's what you gotta do sometimes. You want to get anything out of it, and that dragon is up, and Mega Bro might be looking to get a little bit of vision on that one. I have to feel like Demonic and maybe the bot lane have missed an opportunity to take that dragon because, you know, they saw Biscuit on the top lane dropping that Rift Herald. Maybe they could have taken the opportunity to rush the dragon down, but they're seeming to kind of try it now. I mean, Bisk is right there, though, so this is going to be a fight.
Now literally right there. He's in the pit, has the flash, teleport coming through. This is going to be a 5 versus 4 situation. Squid may channel the teleport in exchange, but no fight really to be had here. The dragon does go over to TDM, up 2-0 now, as it will be the Ocean Soul in this game. So very important soul. That one in TDMA just not wanting to expend the teleport, not wanting to fight for that one. They're saying, hey, we'll be back for maybe that third and that fourth one as well. So Squib now with the teleport advantage over Triblade and the Rylai's Crystal Scepter completed. That's quite a scary Mordekaiser at this point.
Yeah, very scary, especially since movement speed was one of Triblade's greatest assets in this solo lane. The Crystal Scepter is very important. No, I don't think Demonic is going to make it.
Oh, what a nice play.
Oh, the Warthog.
Yes, a great Warthog over the wall. Mega Bro trying to keep himself alive. Has subjugated the Yuumi. Not sure that's quite the character that you did want to be using that on. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, JT has to pop the heal to keep himself alive, but Bisk has arrived from the other side of the tower. Mega Bro going to be taken out almost immediately. Hawkeye goes into the Feather Storm. He should be able to get out of this one. Yes, he will. Bisk actually might be going back in for the Sonic Wave. That might have to be Flash. Not going to be Flash, and a double kill goes over. Hawkeye not using either summoner so far. What a play, and we move up to the top lane. Triblade finding himself in all sorts of trouble. He is so slow, has to use the Flash to keep himself alive in this one, and this is just going all TDMA.
Yeah, it's crazy. Triblade maybe thinking the movement speed would just be enough, but yeah, with that Crystal Scepter from Squid, it's just not. I mean, they're almost on a level playing field as far as movement speed goes. Triblade like barely outrunning Squid, right? And that's not good because one pull is going to be enough damage or enough of a positioning advantage for Squid to really take you down. And yeah, it's just not looking good for Triblade. Now, he does have a lot more CS, right? So we can take a look at the gold here real quick. And yeah, the gold difference is only like 200 between them. So Triblade really doing very well. A lot of it kind of boils down to that kind of singed feed to win playstyle where you just kind of die a lot, but because you farm so hard, it's just okay. You have to be careful with it though, right? You have to make sure that your team is picking up a lot objective wise and even just gold wise for every time that you die. You also have to be making sure you're not feeding your opposing laner so much that they're just unkillable, which is something you definitely have to worry about with a Mordekaiser, who can really hard carry if they get far enough ahead. But at this point, I don't think I'd be worried too much about Triblade dying. I think I'd be worried about like everybody else dying to Bisk, because Bisk is 601 right now, Carl, and that's just massive. I mean,
speaking of people dying, we got a fight going on in the bot lane. True Shot Barrage was already used, so Hawkeye, using those summoners that we talked about earlier, hadn't been used, does use them now and gets himself out to safety, so he's going to be doing okay. But both of those summoners are down, didn't have the ultimate, so just escapes with his life. And those fights in the bot lane are going very much in the favor of TDMA right now. This Trundle just not doing a whole lot of work every time. As speaking of Bisk, his jungler just recalled Triblade's in all sorts of trouble here. Dodging away from the grab, actually. No ultimates are available. I think this will just be the slow death form. Another Sonic Wave does come through. Squib throwing down the mace. Bisk gonna have to back off actually a little bit. Lands the Sonic Wave and does take it in once again. He is godlike now. 7-0 on the Lee Sin, picking up the kill onto Triblade once again.
Yeah, and with that kill on a Triblade, Bisk has now killed every single member of Team Dark Matter. That's pretty crazy, right? We'll take a look.
Yeah.
Real quick, I have a funny feeling here. We'll take a look and see some. Yeah, he does have Relentless Hunter, and with all those bounty hunter stacks, he's got it fully stacked there.
That's pretty early. 16 minutes to achieve that. That's a scary Lee Sin. Once again, we talked about the scary Olaf last game. Maybe it's just Bisk that's scary. He's today. This guy's doing pretty well for himself, and Black Cleaver completed, Warrior completed. He does a lot of damage.
Yeah, Bisk 100% TDMA star player. Maybe almost even with JT. JT's very, very good as well. But yeah, Bisk certainly tonight has shown their pedigree on TDMA. But yeah, that's giving that Relentless Hunter fully stacked is giving Bisk 16% movement speed increase, just passive all the time. That's huge, right? It's like he has Cloud Soul, like 1.5 Cloud Souls right now. At 17 minutes, which is wild. I mean, he's moving all over the place. Let's take a look at the movement speed just running around here. Yeah,
439 out of combat.
My God, that's insane. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously Lee Sin's gonna fall off at some point. One would assume.
We said that about Olaf too.
We did, and he maybe started to look like he was falling off there towards the end. But that was like a 35-minute game, so. If this doesn't fall off on Lee Sin here till 35 minutes, it's over for TDM, right?
Yeah.
That's just going to be nuts. Of course, they have the Ezreal late game win condition as well. They don't, this game, have the Gangplank late game win condition, so maybe not as good a late game looking just yet. They're also missing an extra dragon, so they don't have any of the kind of just unique dragons. From here on out, they're all going to be ocean dragons, which isn't going to be as strong as their infernal dragons they had last game, right? Oh, okay.
Now, a bit of a fight in the bot lane. Skrillity flashing himself away. Bisk is on the chase, getting cut down a little bit, but there's the flash and the taunt coming through from Moyo. The Dragon's Rage not even needed as Moyo picks up the kill. On to Skrillity. Bisk kind of sharing the love here as he gives the kill over to his mid laner.
Yep, trying to share some of that love. You know you're falling off as Lee Sin, right? So you're trying to give it up as much as possible. But that Rift Herald does drop to Squib, taking the time to get some of that value back. Triblade running for their life now as they realize Squib has been behind them this whole time. And Squib here to say, oh no, you ain't getting away.
Pops the Death Realm, pulls him in the end away from him as he had been flipped. The flash expended by Squib, just wanting to make sure that Triblade can't get away. He actually might not catch him. So in the end, the flash kind of expended for not a whole lot of gain. Triblade does have that Rylai's as well. So both of these champions very slow. The Singed finally has that upper edge in the movement speed as Mega Bro gonna get cut down to about 30% here as JT has picked up that blue buff donated over by Bisk, as they did borrow that one from TDM's jungle, as they are just kind of congregating here in the mid lane.
Yep, both mid laners have completed their proto belt, so that's an important item for both Vladimir and Galio, giving them a little bit of extra momentum. Of course, Scurrility on Vladimir can use Protobelt while they're pooled, so it's going to help them get out of some sticky situations. But, I'm not really sure how much that matters at this point. Maybe it'll help them out a little bit. And like you mentioned, Triblade has that Crystal Scepter, so they're a little bit more useful to their team with those slowing gas now. It's also going to make a huge difference in the 1v1 with Squib, too. And we're starting to see Triblade pull further ahead in the CS. Of course, earlier we saw him push all the way into the inner turret in the top lane. So starting to get some of that same split push going for sure. And JT playing with fire here.
Yeah, barely escaped from that ground field before that went down. So he gets out. He's doing okay. As Squib is now shoving up the bot lane. Just a couple dozen CS behind Triblade, so not a whole lot for him to worry about. He will keep farming up like he's been doing, nothing to worry about. His CS numbers in this game, to be fair, doesn't have those 2 items completed, as the Herald now goes down in the bot lane, but Squib could find himself in quite a sticky situation here, as the entire team of TDM Sans jungler is coming up. Triblade might not live to tell the tale, though. Gets away from the grab, but a failed flash over the wall. Not what you like to see, as Squib now in a 1 versus 3. Has picked up the tower, though, with the Herald. He is shut down, but the Baron has been started up on the other side of the map. Only Demonic Xmas is here to stop it. JT gonna get flung way into the air, as Demonic Xmas could find himself in all sorts of trouble. He's taken out of this fight almost immediately by JT. And Jay of the Deep, that final chapter, just doing a ton of damage for TDMA's side. And they are now on to the Baron, as we do have some reinforcements. Mega Bro and Scurrility have arrived. Moyo gonna go see what's the situation with that one. Gets pillared off. Exhaust goes down. True Shot Barrage for a little bit of zoning coming through. Dominance has been asserted, and the Baron goes over to TDMA, trading 1-for-1 kills. And, Squib giving his life, but also giving the Baron.
Yeah, and TDM actually conceding that one after a while, just kind of giving up on it, but they aren't able to take anything in return, not even that mid lane turret. Scurrility might actually be going down here to this.
We have the Sonic Wave available, lands it once again. Is the blood work going to be enough? Scurrility finds himself back with a gray screen. He's taken out of this one. Bisc is just so fast when he's on the chase, especially with the zoomies from Jay of the Deeps as well, doing really well for himself. Moyo just kind of hanging out in the top lane, flexing his muscles a little bit, as we might see a fight here in the mid lane. Hawkeye down to half HP, has to go into the ultimate, a little bit backward. Bisc not able to get the kick on him, but he does continue. He has Yuumi on his back. Teleport going to come through as well. There's Dragon's Rage under Demonic Xmas. Bisc going very low, but he follows the Sonic Wave in into the base. Him and Jay the Deeps are now in the base. Exhaust comes down, but here's the hero's interest in the teleport. This is going to be a 4-man strong push in the base. JT's arrived as well. There are all 5 members here. Mega Bro going to find himself very low, has to flash himself over the wall to safety, and suddenly the whole TDMA team is just standing at the base gate.
Yep, just standing there kind of waiting for TDM to step out of the base, but no one is going to oblige them just yet. Another dragon coming up in 5 seconds, but neither team interested just yet. It's going to be TDMA, trying to force down the mid lane from TDM, and Triblade is proxy farming something fierce, but it's just not going to be, actually it is going to be enough to stop the push here. JT and Squib have to make a run for it. Well played on Triblade, realizing that they couldn't push without minions, but all it's really done is force TDMA onto the dragon. Not sure how much that's really helped in that. It is getting later into the game to the point where these Ocean Drakes aren't going to matter as much. And to be honest, with another 10 minutes before they can pick up Soul, I'm not sure if going for the Soul is going to matter too much either. I feel like they have a better shot just ending the game before we get to 34 minutes, but that is going to be up to TDMA. We'll see how they play this out, but that Baron buff is still up, so they're going to get a little bit more pushing out of the buff.
Yeah, for sure, and that Ocean Soul should still have its uses, even if it is 35 minutes into the game. That Soul itself is still quite strong, so might not be super useful to dragons themselves, but that buff, of course, very strong. Demonic Xmas finding himself in quite a sticky spot. He's going to be taken out by Squib once again with the use of that Death Realm. Not the game that he was hoping for on his patented Graves, as the push in the mid lane does continue. 3 men strong. JT going to be following relatively shortly, was a little bit delayed picking up red buff, but as a fellow AD carry, can't fault him too much for always wanting to grab that. Triblade's arrived on the scene, but I'm not sure he does want to be here. Has to walk himself away. Gonna walk back into this now, as the siege does look to continue here in the mid. Squib in the top as well, so we got a nice little 1-4 going on. JT throwing down the poke. Bisk threatening up in the top lane. True Shot Barrage comes across for a little bit of poke. Squib now fighting against his laner, going to flip each other back. Hawkeye has to run for the hills to get himself out of this one. Had gone very low. Mega Bro going to be taken out immediately. JT running from Scurrility in the backline as Moyo and Bisk are tanking up the tower. Jay of the Deeps has gone down to the tower, had taken some aggro from that. I do think Tribal going to find himself back in the death chamber. Moyo going to die to the tower as well. Tell a lie actually pops the side his hourglass to keep himself safe. Scurrility going to find himself in all sorts of trouble here. When's the mace back available? Squib brings it down on Scurrility's head, and he does go down. Hawkeye in the meantime has shut down JT, but it is just Hawkeye here against 3. Bisk, Moyo, and Squib all pushing strong in the base as Hawkeye gonna just run for the fountain and maybe look to defend the Nexus towers as the inhibitor turret has gone down here. The inhibitor's under fire as well. Botlane available once again. Mega Bro has respawned here, so I think it will just be the inhibitor and run, but TDMA come out way ahead in that fight.
I don't know. I feel like Bisk might turn this on him. It's just Hawkeye and Mega Bro. He could definitely 2v1, but yeah, they might be looking for the reset here. I have to imagine they have a lot of gold in their hands. Yeah, Bisk especially has like 2,000 gold, but yeah, so I think getting the reset might be the play here. No, Bisk really regenning really hard for the double Ocean Drags, though. Oh, trying to go back in on Mega Bro. Missed another Sonic Wave, though. That's a couple Sonic
That
Waves.
one lands. He's going in. Exhaust goes down, kicks him back into pretty much nobody, but hey, it looks cool. Why not do it? Bisk now legendary, picking up the kill on to the support. On his way back, he says, I got my dinner, and now I'm going to have my dessert as well. Just a little troll on the side of that one as JT has taken over the mid lane duties here. As Bisk going to take a reset, spend some more of his gold, is working toward that Guardian Angel third now. Has the Sterix and the Black Cleaver for a bit of tankiness and a bit of damage.
All right, and JT maybe stepping a little bit too far here. I'm not sure, but Scurrility actually looking to be the one that stepped too far. Got too close to JT, and now Demonic Axis getting too close as well. Man, there's so much damage coming from this Ezreal. Triforce, Muramana, picked up the Executioner's Calling as well. It's a lot of damage, but Triblade trying to get away from Squib. Just enough
He'll get out of there.
speed there
Ultimate
on
has
the
been down,
Singe.
so yeah, ultimate already used, so he walks himself out of that one as the bot lane looks to be the next focus target here. Scurrility forced to pop that Sanguine Pool. Bisk just going in for a bit more. He uses the kick to kill Scurrility. The Blood Demon is taken out. Moyo now into the tower as a teleport is coming through from Squib. This is going to be a 5-man strong push here in the bot lane. The inhibitor under fire. It's a 5 versus 4. We might just see a fight in the base here as Bisk going in has the Yuumi on his back, and here's the hero's entrance as well. Bisk going to be almost taken out. He does go down in the end to the Singe, but Squib not a killing spree, picking up Mega Bro. That support Trundle has gone down. Once again, there's a flash flip onto Moyo. He's taken out. Jay of the Deep able to get himself onto Squib as it is now a full retreat for the TDMA side, but it is still a 3 versus 3 actually. They might try to turn the table on this one. Triblade going pretty low. There is the final chapter. Triblade gonna get hit by 3 of those, gets rooted up. Is the auto attack in? Yes, it is. JT picking up the kill onto Triblade and now looks to continue the chase. This Yuumi healing is just very strong for him at this point as Hawkeye might have stepped a little bit too far forward. He's gonna pop the Feather Storm, but he does go down to the red buff. There's a True Shot Barrage. What a shot from JT. A triple kill now for this Ezreal. Scurrility trying to defend the base, has popped the ultimate, but it doesn't look like he's going to get a whole lot for it. There's his on his hourglass to try to buy a little bit more time. He's going to be taking out JT now on a rampage, moving on to Mega Bro. This could be the unofficial pentakill here if JT is able to get it forward. It does not look like he'll be able to pick up that kill. Only the 4 in that play as the first Nexus Tower is now under fire. It is just Mega Bro here, and another teleport's coming through from Moyo. This could be the end of the game and the end of the series. So they go forward onto this one. JT picking up another kill. There's the ace. The thumbs up are coming through. And what a dominant fashion on this game as TDMA look to go 2-0 here on the Nexus itself. Down to half HP. The team has respawned. They're trying to get a bit of defense in here. There's a shutdown onto Ezreal, but it's not going to be enough. The Nexus does fall, and TDMA prevail and go 2-0 over TDM.
Yeah, and it's a pretty easy 2 out there for TDMA, so very, very well played indeed. The Coin Flippers have quite the climb ahead of them, that best of 5 in the finals. But yeah, Carl, it's going to be TDMA versus the Coin Flippers. Wow, I'm excited for that game, but Yeah, Bisk absolutely massive in this series, right? Game one on the Olaf was huge. Game two, arguably bigger on Lee Sin. I mean, it almost is more impactful that they played this one on a harder champion. I mean, I'm sure there's a viewer out there who's thinking, Olaf's easy. Yeah, anyone could do that on Olaf. Maybe not so much on Lee Sin, right? 14 1 and 3, the score line on Bisk. 700 shutdown gold here at the end of the game, looking very, very strong indeed.
Yeah, for sure. Just a demon throughout this game. You know, Demonic Xmas just never had an opening to do anything. Essentially in this game, you know, ended with one item completed other than his jungle item. You know, Bisk ending with 3 other completed items and a Ninja Tabby to keep Demonic Xmas's autos from doing a whole lot, and just a dominant performance from Bisk. This was a jungle carry, you know, in the entire series. In the first game, obviously didn't have that opposing jungler, but in this game, it didn't even look like, you know, it didn't look that much different than that first game. They gave away the couple of dragons, but he was able to just get himself rolling and had so many very good kicks, great ward hops, escapes, chase downs. He just had the whole package in this game, and I think that's really what brought the series home and brought the game home for TDMA.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're gonna try and get Bisk in here for an interview because that was just too dominant play. Too dominant series for the jungler not to get an interview on that one. So we'll see if we can get them in here shortly. And I think I just heard them enter the call here. So
there's the noise. He's here.
What's up?
All right. So congrats on the win tonight.
Thank
we
you.
just had a couple of questions for you, if that's
Yep.
all right.
For sure.
All right. So we've kind of seen Olaf be a hot button pick for you.
Mhm.
Is it a champion that you talk about with your team you're going to play, or is that just kind of something you dropped on him last minute?
No, we've been playing with Olaf for a bit. Like, all I tell my team is, like, spar him up, don't look for early kills, because naturally Olaf will have the jungle lead through CS, so we've been playing with it for a long time. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, and you look massive on the Olaf, man. That was crazy. But, you know, you didn't have the opposing jungler, so we're gonna talk about game two here.
Okay.
Game two was a little bit more meaningful for you, I guess.
Mm.
But yeah, 14-1 and 3 or something like that. The scoreline on the Lee Sin. It was massive, right?
Yeah.
How would you respond to this stat I have here? You did a little over half the damage that JT did.
I know. Okay. I don't know why JT for some reason says he's bad at Ezreal. I don't know why he says that, because every every scrim we play with his Ezreal, he's topping the damage charts every single time.
Yeah, it's
I don't
monstrous.
know. Like, I'm not a Lee Sin player either, so I was just kind of. It felt like it was a good pick into their team, so I was like, why not?
Yeah, I definitely agree with the pick. No.
Yeah.
So you said you're not a Lee Sin player. How much experience do you have with the champion?
Like, I wouldn't say I'm not a Lee Sin player, but I can't do those like crazy, you know, like insects and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
I can do the routine plays, I guess. So I'm not too confident on him to make those plays, but like, I'm not too bad on him. Just, you know, regular Lee Sin player, I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's funny. I noticed in the chat because it was crazy. You would get like a triple kill or something, and then just miss a sonic wave, and would be like, "Okay, all right, that was weird,"
Yeah.
but it was really funny. But yeah, congrats, man. That was an amazing performance.
Thanks.
So you don't play a lot of Lee Sin? Do you normally build GA on the Lee Sin, or is that just kind of
Yeah, I usually do. I like it.
You do? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I thought that was it. It was super aggressive, right? But
I was not too concerned about the build at the end of the game either.
Yeah, at the end there. Yeah, okay. Just kind of wanted to stay on the rift, but yeah. Did you have any questions for him, Carl?
How do you feel about the finals? You'll be going up against the coin flippers. If you guys, you know, you have any experience kind of against them? I know they're in the other divisions, so you might not have a ton of scrim experience. You know, what are your thoughts going into that final?
I don't think we've ever played against them. I don't know. I don't think we've ever scrimmed against them. We might have, like, maybe once, but we're probably gonna watch the video, see how they play, maybe get a strategy coming in. But we're all really excited to play in the finals. Should be fun.
For sure. Just one more question here. Finally, the final being a best of 5 versus the best
Right.
of 3. Are you guys doing anything special to kind of prepare for that longer game? I know some people kind of can find it
Mm.
hard to play League for going into that 4th and 5th game if you need to. Are you guys doing
Right.
anything special to prepare for that, or are you just kind of going business as usual?
No, yeah, just usually, we'll get some games in from now on until those finals. Just try and get prepared, I guess. We don't have any special strat though.
No
Gotcha.
Yeah.
secret sauce on that one.
Alright,
Yeah,
I got one
unfortunately
last
not.
question for you.
Yeah.
Now that you've beaten TDM in the semifinals, are any of
Mhm.
you making it to the main team, or?
Oh yeah, take that A off our team name for the finals. We deserve it.
Switch the A on the other team, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. Thank you very much, Bisk, for the interview. Congrats
For sure.
again on the win, and
Thanks.
good luck going forward into that final.
Thank you.
Always nice when they get to stop by and chat with us a little bit. A lot of insight coming through from Bisk, so nice to talk to him. Had to be him, of course, after that, after such a dominant performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just crazy games. We'd kind of beaten the horse dead and then just kept beating it. But it was quite the horse. So that was pretty crazy. Most damage coming through from TDM, by the way, was the Singe, was Tri-Blade. So not as bad a pick as we made it out to be there. He did very well on it. But yeah, it wasn't able to get there in the end. Yeah, I have to say, as much as we could talk about like the performances JT and Bisk had, I really feel like the Trundle pick just kind of killed TDM, right? I mean, obviously most damage came through from JT on Ezreal, but you have to look across to the enemy team and be like, this Trundle didn't do anything for him, and it's not so much the way that Megara played it as it was just like the pick itself. I don't think anybody could have played Trundle so well that they got themselves out of this situation.
Yeah, it just seems like it just does. I think the idea is really to stop the Yumi dash.
Yeah.
I guess. I'm not really sure. I assume that was the idea going behind that pick, because they realized that they probably would be against the Ezreal Yumi again, but it just wasn't worth it in lane. We saw Mega Bro just not able to do anything in lane, ended up with a third of the damage of the Yumi. Not herself renowned as a super high damage champion. I mean, she gets a lot out, but 4 times as much almost as Megaro had on that Trundle. So I think the theory behind the pick maybe is not awful, but in the end it just didn't work out.
Yep, that is for sure. That is for sure. Yeah, that's all I had for you tonight. We kind of got off early here, Carl.
Yeah, just turned into just a couple of hours on the series here, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. We had a 2-0 for Team Dark Matter Academy over their main squad. Team Dark Matter TDMA advances to the finals against the Coin Flippers. That will be scheduled within a couple of days. If you want to follow us a little bit more closely, you can do so on our Discord. We're always happy to chat with you, banter a little bit about the game, and catch up on the brackets, stats, and all other things Style Esports is on that Discord server. You can find the link for that below the stream, as well as our website, YouTube channel, and a few music credits can be found there once again below the stream. But that is going to be it for us this evening. On behalf of myself, Axman87, Sky Ripper, our lovely host, we thank you all so much for watching. We will see you next time. Take care. Good night.